Hi there. I'd like to, my second piece I'd like to talk about is blendspace.com. All right. Blendspace.com. The reason why I chose this is from the organizational aspect that it allows. I learned this at an in-service from our tech director, and I've really been playing around with it a lot, and it has helped me organize some of my lessons plans as well as get pretty creative on some of the things that I'm trying to do with some of my teachings and how I present my lessons. It's allowed me to not be limited to just one piece. I guess that's why I put the word wireless. Sometimes I found myself having to go to a hard drive, a server, things like that. It's allowed me to put a lot of my information, especially PDFs and so forth, onto the web where I can just log in and use our Wi-Fi. Again, as I said, it helps me as well as my lesson planning. The audience for this would be my teachers and coworkers to try to pass the word to see if this is something that they would like to use in their classroom. The standards that I'm looking at with this is the ISTE T3D, which is modeling and facilitate effective use of current and emerging tools to locate and use information to support learning. And then T3C, which is communicating relevant information and ideas, mainly to my students, using a variety of formats, which I'll show you how this variety of formats comes up with BlendSpace. So first, real simple. I've already gone to the blendspace.com. I apologize, I don't want to log out and log back in. And as I've said before, I'm just starting to mess around with this a little bit. But what I like about this is I do a big nutritional piece in a lot of my strength and conditioning courses. In fact, I use it during their workouts because I don't want to lose exercise time with my students. But what I've been able to do is in this, I have a lot of PDFs that I've used that I've had to sometimes, wait to try to get to my external drive or our school hard drive. But I've been able to put all of my PDFs here that I would like to teach with. So let's just say that I'm wanting this day to talk to our kids about eating for top performance. So I could double click on this file and I actually use an Apple TV on our projector. This would go straight from my iPad because sometimes I've had a hard time transferring some of my files over to my iPad and it's not as convenient, and sometimes I don't want to use my laptop because we have a large room. And so this would make it very convenient sometimes for me. Even when a kid has a question, I like the fact that I'll use this and I'll have my iPad with me. Kid will have a question and say, hey, coach, I want to know a little bit more about, hey, you've been talking about how we need to, what do I need to do to, gain weight or so forth. And I use this a lot rather than have the manual booklet. It's the booklet I wrote. But in this booklet, I have a lot of items, for our kids. And since I have this on my iPad, it makes it a little bit more convenient than me having to go to my books section or anything like this. So, like I said, Meals for Recovery, what should they be doing? I can pull this sheet up and just even handle my iPad and say, hey, read this real quick. And sometimes that'll even answer their question. So the new feature that I like with this as well is, let's just say I'm going to make a new lesson. So I could come over here to new lesson, and let's just say that I wanted to make a new lesson for our kids on, pregame routine or exercise, eating for exercise, something like that. I could come in here and go eating for exercise, and I could drag and drop some of those PDFs that I had earlier, or I could even come over here and I could find YouTube videos that can help to, back that up or reinforce it. And I could come over here and put it into this lesson so that, let's just say that I'm talking with the students. I've got my PDF here of eating for exercise. I could then even bring over, nutritional, one that I saw the other day. I use this one for technique sometimes. It's Peter Griffin from Family Guy using proper squat form. It's kind of entertaining. So I could bring this over, and click on this YouTube, and then it'll bring it over to Peter Griffin showing
Would you
me
happen to have a jack we could borrow?
proper
You don't need a
or
jack.
inappropriate
I have a
way to
jack.
squat.
Come on, I'll lift that thing for you. All right, boys, now watch how this is done.
The key is to put it all in your groin and your back. Take your legs totally out of the equation. Lift with your lower back in a jerking, twisting motion. Ah!
Peter!
Oh my God! Call an ambulance!
Which that helps from the standpoint of there's obviously humor behind it, but with the humor, I've used that where if a kid's using improper technique, now I gotta find my book. Okay, using improper technique, I can easily go, hey, you're doing that like Peter Griffin, and so that's in. Let's see, where was I? I was over here on eating for exercise. So there's a lot of great options, not only from YouTube, but you can even come in here and you can do some quiz work. So if I was going to do something, for, best energy source from a food, energy source from a food. And I could come down here and enter an answer and say, carbohydrate. I could come in and say protein. I could come down and add another and do fat, and I can even make small quizzes. Now, I have not messed with that very much because, again, I like to try to have my class as much of a performance class as possible. But, blend space, the title's appropriate from the standpoint that you're just trying to blend some of the items that you use with your lessons. That way I'm not constantly going to, say, my YouTube channel to try to pull a video on, say, proper lifting form or what I've used it for most right now is just having all of my nutritional information that I like to have readily available for kids. So, if I got a kid coming in and saying, hey, I think I just messed that up, saying I'm dehydrated, I have a dehydration chart that I'll use with the kids. These actually in our restroom, we sit there and go, okay, this is the urine analysis of what the color of your urine should be for dehydration. And it's just more readily available for me. So I think I'm not more of a traditional classroom teacher, but I think a more traditional classroom teacher could really find some great ideas and resources with this tool. Thank you.